Yes. Hi, hello, and welcome. We are broadcasting live from Global Council for Aerospace, Defense, and Deep Tech Innovation, a premier global platform dedicated to accelerating innovation, strategic partnership, and cross border collaborations across aerospace, defense, space, and deep tech industries. Today, we are witnessing a profound transformation in the global strategic landscape, breakthroughs in space technologies, autonomous systems, satellite intelligence, advanced manufacturing, quantum computing, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and defense innovation are redefining the future of national security, industrial competitiveness, and global economic growth. Yet, alongside this technological revolution comes a significant challenge. Governments, defense organizations, investors, and enterprise are navigating an increasingly complex ecosystem filled with fragmented technologies, evolving regulations, and rapidly shifting geopolitical priorities. Visionary founders or breakthroughs, innovators often struggle to access the strategic partnerships, institutional capital, and global market opportunities needed to scale their solutions. Promoted by the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade and supported by the global network of polymakers, defense leaders, researchers, investors, and industry experts established to bridge the gaps to create the trusted ecosystem where innovation can move seamlessly and concept to deployment. We are more than a platform, we are a catalyst for collaboration, connecting governments, defense organizations, space agencies, investors, enterprises, startups, and research institutions to accelerate commercialization, strengthen sovereign capabilities, and build the technologies that will define the future. Operating key strategic regions including India, the Middle East, Europe, North America, Africa, and the Asia Pacific Global Council for Aerospace, Defense, and Deep Tech Innovations. He is committed to forecasting partnerships that drive technological resilience, economic growth, and global competitiveness. Today, as part of our visionary interview series, we are exploring the ideas and innovations shaping the future of aerospace, defense, and deep tech. Joining us is a leader who embodies exactly what it means to build with vision, purpose, and transformative impact. Please welcome our distinguished speaker, Debadatta Mishra. Mishra is a distinguished aerospace and defense leader, entrepreneur, and innovator with more than 22 years of experience across India, primary research and development organizations including like ISRO, DRDO, and the Aerospace and Aviation Sector Skill Council under the National Skills Development Corporation, Government of India. Throughout his remarkable career, he has played a pivotal role in advancing space mission design, satellite technologies, aerospace skill development, and human space flight initiatives. He has also held leadership positions in the private sector, including heading the satellite division of Astra Microwave Private Limited, one of India's leading defense companies. Today, as the founder and CEO of Apex OrbitalX Private Limited, Mishra is leading the development of India's first cost effective micro Earth observation satellite, constellation integrated with electronic intelligence, payloads designed for defense, surveillance, and civilian applications. This ambitious initiative aims to deliver 24 hours all weather intelligence capabilities with the first satellite expected to launch in 2028. Beyond his entrepreneurial journey, Mishra actively mentors aerospace and defense startups, advises leading universities and innovation institutions, and has supported projects worth more than 100 crores. His expertise spans satellite technologies, defense systems, aerospace manufacturing, workforce transformation, and global space innovation. Mishra, thank you for joining us today and contributing the future of aerospace, defense, and deep tech innovation. It's honor to you have with us today.
Thank you, Susma. Thank you, my dear friend Santosh, for giving this opportunity and this initiative called GCADDI. Definitely, this platform will provide the opportunity to interact in domestic market as well as with the international end users, the vendors, and supply chain experts in this defense and aerospace and other deep tech areas. So I take this opportunity to share my 2 decades long expertise with the viewer of this program. So the topic, what I've chosen is very relevant to the present context because India is now going through this transition. So sovereign deep tech and aerospace capabilities. When I say deep tech, so almost all it covers aerospace, defense, space, semiconductor, and all the advanced technologies where the R&D or the research and development is the background. And I have just kept my presentation very brief and crisp so that we can have more time for question answer session and to discuss more insight about it. It's the presentation covered in this way, the practical insights, what I have experienced in my last 20 plus years of journey in this industry, because space or defense, if you compare with international scenario in India, last few years only the private participation, especially the startups kind of culture came, which were not there 5, 6 years or a decade back. The next 3 to 5 years horizon, then ecosystem synergy, how GCADDI and startups like us can find synergy to work together. Let me go to my second slide. Practical expertise, what I have experienced, I would like to share here with my viewers who are going to get a lot of inside information from this presentation. So real world insights from orbital mission design to cryogenic propulsion stage to space situational intelligence and tactical defense platforms. Every one of us are very much aware of this cryogenic stage, how India built this technology, what are the adversaries and sanctions, limitations we faced. But in spite of that, we made a very successful grand story. And today, proudly, we can say that the technology which was denied to us by the foreign countries, we are launching their satellite by using the same technology from India. So it's a proud moment for all of us. So cryogenic propulsion, so here we have engineered multi-stack, semi-cryogenic, cryogenic, and full cryogenic upper stage with advanced thermal management, optimized for responsive orbital deployment and displace maneuverability. So cryogenic, in a very layman's language, I can explain here. If you want to store a cup of coffee now, today, so once our grandchildren come, the temperature of coffee also should remain the same. So that kind of complex thermal insulation it needs, and we have to preserve its quality and the other properties of the propellants and fuels what we are going to use in this propulsion system. Constellation design. So here low Earth orbit or the Earth observation satellite where currently I'm working and where earlier I worked also. So it is using the artificial intelligence enabled edge computing for automated target detection, tactical latency reduction, so that within a very short time, let's say less than 1 millisecond, your information can be transferred to Earth from the satellite by using the advanced ground control systems, and resilient downlink mesh network, so that across the globe, wherever you are or end users are, the information should flow to them without any much hurdle and interruptions. Space domain awareness, the integrated real-time optical and radar orbital tracking to detect non-cooperative or the rogue space assets, mitigate debris risk, and ensure critical satellite asset survivability. Defense innovation. So in this autonomous tactical edge, which is the talk of the town, so embedding artificial intelligence directly with on orbit and unmanned aerial nodes to shorten the sensor to shooter loop from hours to sub-seconds, because the decision makers needs the information at the mouse click away, so that without any delay they can take any strategic decisions. And in the current geopolitical situations, this is the hugely, I can say this is not the luxury, but this is the necessity now. The availability of information to the end user should be made at the speed of light. Electronic warfare resilience, so developing anti-jamming GPS, denied navigation algorithms, and spectrum agile communications for denied operational environment. So in hostile environment, how we can survive and we can work. So that is the technology which is needed now. Dual use architecture, building modular hardware platforms adaptable for commercial as well as for defense applications during peacetime, and tactical intelligence in conflict is required. That is the innovation which currently defense areas are looking for. Rapid responsive space standardized satellite buses capable of payload integration and launch readiness within 72 hours of call-up. That is something all of us are working on, and as I mentioned again, this is not the luxury anymore. This is a necessity because there are many missions, many operations now. The end user wants that within 10 days or maybe half of that timeline, can the satellite be ready to launch? Because our conventional satellites, it takes years together. And so far, the evolution in the satellite technology has happened that whatever fast speed you do, at least in a month or so, you can make one satellite. That is the technology has been evolved so far. But the demand has increased, like the requirements are also increased from very diversified areas, from security, surveillance, reconnaissance areas, where within 3 to 4 days they're expecting whether a small nano satellite can be integrated and be launched, although maybe with a less lifespan, but that's okay. So that is the innovations from strategic areas which is now required. So that is part two, that is next 3 to 5 years horizon. What is the horizon now looking like in the next 3 to 5 years requirements wise? Strategic foresights into electronic warfare. So we have seen the recent wars have been fought from space, gathering of space intelligence, then autonomous swarms, and the future of dual use deep tech markets, because you cannot only depend on government business, anchoring government business. We have to even meet the civilian requirements also. So next 3 to 5 year industry shift in autonomous swarm drones. It is anticipated to shift around 90% plus. So if you are today at 30 or 40%, then in the next 3 to 5 years, another 30 to 40% growth is anticipated. So dual use tactical Earth observation and infrared satellite, where Apex OrbitalX is predominantly working. It anticipates that 80% plus shift is expected because of its dual in nature, because the civilian like disaster management to forest fire monitoring to precision agriculture, it can see in the day and night, so which can help strategic and surveillance requirements. So huge growth potential is there what Apex OrbitalX currently is working. And it's not the domestic requirement alone, even internationally also such kind of technologies are highly sought for. Space-based electronic warfare and signal intelligence, that is SIGINT, and we are also working on ELINT, that is electronic intelligence. So here 75% shift is expected. Then cryo-based heavy launch vehicle, which can take heavy satellites or multiple satellites to different orbits. So around 65% growth potential is expected. So combined together, if you see in the next 35 years, 3 to 5 years, defense procurement will overwhelmingly pivot towards low cost, attrition tolerance, autonomous swarm, and sovereign satellite intelligence, reducing reliance on legacy monolithic system. So the system demands now it should be diversified in nature. It should not be a single point failure. And overall, all these areas are just the tip of iceberg, because this aerospace, defense, and space sector is a very wide area. So many other subsystems and system area requirements are there, but due to paucity of time and to keep the presentation crisp, I have not noted everything or listed here. But having said that, this is the growing sector, and this, or in the single word we people call this a sunrise sector, because all other areas are preempted, but space sector is growing fast. Aerospace, space, and defense sectors. So next generation technological frontiers. So although we have worked through a lot, we have mastered certain technologies, but propulsion evolution, because here it will control the overall cost of the space transportation or the aerospace transportation, because when we fly on Earth, see per kg we have to pay here, right? There is certain allowance which is allowed, but beyond that, if you are carrying something aircraft, things have to be, the cost has to be reduced by using these advanced propulsion technologies, and we can make it affordable and timely access to the end user. Then autonomous swarm mesh, of course, drone wise, many more technologies we have been using, we have developed, we are talking, but This is the future where the autonomous drones technology is required, where the drone can talk to each other in absence of any human intervention. It can still do their mission objective and come back or may land safely without harming the your friendly troops or the friendly areas. If it is a surveillance, strategic requirements, or gathering information, or providing any peace type peacetime help to the end users. Orbital electronic warfare, as I mentioned, that all future war are slowly shifting to space. So the software defined radio frequency payloads delivering real-time geolocation, signal intercept, and adaptive countermeasures from low Earth orbit is the one area where this next generation technology are required. So we have to work on that front also. Scaling blueprint, definitely once we have developed something, so we cannot sit by crossing our arms. So we have to see that how we can make it grow further and convert the R&D into commercial aspect and start generating revenues. So here the points are covered are like strategic, technical, regulatory, governance frameworks required to scale sovereign deep tech venture globally, because these kind of industries, although it's meant to meet our domestic requirements, but these industries are usually cater to the international demand. So example is BrahMos Aerospace. BrahMos missile was made for India, for our security agencies, for our defense establishments. But now India has been exporting it to our friendly nations and other international customers. So pillars for sovereign scale, I have categorized that is into 4 points. Maybe many more can be made here. Then modular hardware architecture, that is decouple the satellite bus manufacturing from payload integration. I'm just giving little more emphasis on space area because this is a very vague and very new area, new industry in India. So decouple the satellite bus manufacturing from payload integration and enable rapid iterative upgrades and localized assembly. So this is a modular integration concept. Domestic supply chain security, established tier 1 sovereign sourcing for radiation hardened microelectronics, specialized alloys, the materials and metallurgy areas, propellants to eliminate geopolitical single point failures, which I have already mentioned that single point failure is very dangerous in these deep tech industries, because once your supply chain constraints is there, then whatsoever your knowledge or technology may be, you cannot meet the real-time requirements because there is already a bottleneck established in your system, which we have to avoid. Regulatory agility and compliance, proactively align dual use IP protection with certain foreign regulatory measures such as ITAR from USA, ER from Europe, and international orbital debris mitigation standards for fast track export license, because many of our items still are coming from abroad only, and that still comes under a lot of export regulatory council where GCADDI definitely can play a meaningful role in bridging, because these regulatories are made in the World War II time. And since then the world has evolved a lot. Now no country is isolated, so we are working in a global village. So why then all these export and restrictions? Because when you are using the technology for the betterment of our society, of civilization, to make our life better, let's have a friendly understanding and use the technology so that we can minimize the time for development. Patience, deep tech capital, because these kind of industries, defense, aerospace, space, are highly gestation times industries. Because here, if you germinate a seed, then it will take at least 4 to 5 years minimum by the time you'll have the return on your investment. So here, very particular and very seasoned venture capitalists are required, who can structure blended public-private venture funding models with long-term horizon commitments matching aerospace testing cycles. As I mentioned here, the development cycle is very lengthy here. So scaling operational metrics, I have made 4 metrics here by dividing all the points here. One is early R&D stage, then growth and validation, then further scaling. So technical, in early R&D stage, subsystem qualification in laboratory level, growth and validation in orbit flight heritage, that is in between TRL 7 to 8. Then sovereign scale target, that is high yield automated serial productions. Supply chain, that is commercial off-the-shelf components. Then qualified domestic secondary suppliers in the sovereign 100% sovereign tier 1 raw materials. in regulatory, local experimental waivers, bilateral defense trade clearances, then global expert, meeting all the ITAR and other regulatory compliance. Governance, that is founder-led project management under early R&D stage, where the founders who have come with the original idea or the fundamental innovative idea, let them work on lab and make the product at reach the certain stage like TRL 3 or 4, then growth and validation, then quality certification. So to meet the international standards or national quality standards. So here I have again found out few points where we can find synergy with GCID, because as I'm representing Apex OrbitalX is a new space as a startup company. Although I may be 2 decades old veteran in this area, but my company is a small infant or baby. So where definitely we need support and collaboration with the GCADDI. So the points what I have um, summarized here. So Apex OrbitalX contributions can be what we can bring to the table to Global Council for Aerospace, Defense, and Deep Tech Innovation is we can provide flight-proven space heritage and propulsion test-bed access for member startups, technical mentorship on radiation, head-end avionics, and dual-use payload design, co-development pipelines for sovereign defense capabilities. So GCAD ecosystem, it can multiply these how by jointly collaborative ways by driving systematic growth across the sector with unified advocacy for defense procurement, policy and regulatory streamlining, global matchmaking between investors, research institutes, and deep tech founders, shared the facilities and standardized qualification frameworks. Because in beginning of your description about GCADI, you said that GCADI is not a national or a domestic platform only, but is an international venture where people across different boundaries, geopolitical boundaries from this sector, aerospace, defense, and deep tech sectors, they can exchange ideas, they can take help from each other, and they can nourish their own industries in their own initiatives to meet the local as well as the global demands. So with this, I end my presentation. Hope so I justified the time and the theme what is given to me. Thank you, Susma. To
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Mishra, for that insightful and inspiring presentation. So, I'd like to ask you a few questions to explore your vision and experience in greater depth. So, shall we start?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. My first question is having spent more than 2 decades of ISRO and DRDO and leading organizational across India's aerospace ecosystem, you have witnesses the evaluation of space technologies like firsthand. How do you see the Earth observation satellites, electronic intelligence, and dual use space technologies transforming defense, maritime security, and commercial industries over the next 5 to 10 years?
And in the earlier days, these kind of products were within the ambit of government agencies, and majorly the defense and security or the surveillance agencies were mainly the customers or end users in the 1970s and 80s timeline. Then having seen the potential and use cases of Earth observation satellite in precision agriculture area, in disaster management area, then infrastructure, financial, fintech areas, oil and gas sectors, and many more subsectors, they found that satellite data can be used for a number of use cases to meet their operational and long-term requirements. So constellation of satellite advantage is you can get the hourly basis coverage of your assets wherever it is. If you are a owner of a oil and gas rig, which is in Russia or any other farthest part of this world, but you are in India, still then your satellite can provide you all the informations at your mouse click away. Wherever you are, you can get it, all the tangible and legitimate information, I can say, because satellite data are time stamped and date stamped, like how you write the mail, you cannot change the time and date later stage. So satellite, it captures the image which is tamper proof. so that you can use it legitimately. Coming to this maritime surveillance, so detecting ghost ships or the dark ships in our special economic zone in the Indian Ocean is one of the biggest requirement from our maritime surveillance agencies such as Indian Coast Guard, Indian Navy, or Maritime Police. So the kind of satellite Apex OrbitalX is building is it is integrated with that ELINT payload that is called electronic intelligence payload. Is a radio frequency payload which can detect these unauthorized signals coming from our Indian oceans or our sea beds, and we can catch these illegal fishing ships or any smuggling ships or any unwanted or unfriendly country ship or any surveillance systems in our water body. So we can protect our water body from all these unauthorized and illegal activities. That is the area which I'm seeing the demands is growing exponentially, and companies like Apex OrbitalX can definitely meet, and we are marching ahead in our product development in the coming few years. So then coming to commercial sectors, as I mentioned, the high resolution Earth observation imaging are now used in you. Tell me a sector, I can tell how they are using the satellite data, this high resolution satellite image. So I can say that more than 100 plus areas or the departments or the sectors, they are completely now using satellite data either for their decision making process or for forecasting or for their business decisions. So going forward, this Earth observation industry, satellite Earth observation industry is going to grow, and the anticipation is not in millions, but it is in few billions in the next 5 to 7 years. So this is a ever-growing sector. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing those valuable insights. So it's fascinating to hear how space technologies are shaping the future of defense and its commercial applications. So moving to my next question, your presentation highlights the integration of cryogenic propulsion, AI-powered consultation design, and space domain awareness. How do you see these technologies transforming the future of space operations and defense capabilities over the next decade?
Yes. So as I mentioned here, every space transportation has to be cost effective so that uh, agencies or the end user can afford to send on them. So the classic one example I'll tell. An university is developing a scientific payload. For example, they want to study the uh, alpha, beta, gamma ray, what is coming from the solar radiation, what is its effect on Earth. Of course, it's a purely academic interest, but they cannot afford right now to send the payload to space, because to send 1 kg of payload to space, currently people charge in between 20 to 25,000 US dollar. So which is a huge cost for any university, if it is a government funded or a autonomous also, or yeah, private.
Yes.
So in that way, if we develop this cryogenic propulsion is the major advantage is with cryogenic is, of course, it's a non-toxic propulsion system and is having the high specific impulse. So that makes it a more efficient than any other chemical rockets. And in that case, if the propulsion system is a cost friendly, then that advantage can be passed to the customer. So
Yeah.
instead of 25,000 US dollar, it can be even 5 to 6 thousand US dollar per kg, and that is somehow affordable. People can think of sending their payload. So companies like us, startups who work on a very in a very cash crunch areas. So we have developed a technology and we want to demonstrate. And if this kind of systems are there, definitely it will be easy for us to prove our record, demonstrate, and send our POC and start generating the revenue as well as the further business.
Yeah.
And coming to this space domain awareness and using artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, I can say that maybe buzzword now, but it has been used in space and aerospace or defense sectors in a different manner, going back, means if you look back from last 20, 30 years, that we use it as autonomous thing. Now, the intelligence platform we have integrated with the autonomy. Artificial intelligence, like taking decision in the real time situation without any human intervention, so that you can easily conclude your vision, your mission objectives. So our satellites, if this kind of technology is embedded or integrated with the onboard computer systems, then the moment it captures the information in terms of image or any change detection or any event, it will analyze itself, the satellite, and it can transmit, so that you don't have to break your head to analyze the real-time situations. And space situational awareness, why required? Because the orbit, what we use in space in the range of 300 to 500 kilometers orbit, what is called low Earth orbit, where all the human spaceflight activities are there, all the discarded rocket parts are revolving around Earth, and that area is getting overcrowded. So going forward, when we have a lot of interest in that orbit, so we have to see that it should be free from all unwanted debris or the traffic, what we call how we manage traffic on Earth. It is difficult to manage same with the traffic on space, because here we are majorly controlled by humans, but there all the objects are revolving at the speed of 50,000 to 60,000 kilometer per hour speed. So you can imagine the kind of cascading effect it can have if it collides with any other object. So that is called Kessler syndrome. Is a very famous person called Kessler. Is a USA space scientist who have developed this theorem. So to avoid all these unwanted and unpleasant situations they are in space, so space situational awareness is the call of the time. So combined together, having said that something is important, something is less important, not like that. Yes, satellites are required. Earth observation satellites are pretty good required because the demands are exponentially growing, but as well as the other areas also we cannot ignore. So those sectors from this space area also have to complement and supplement each other.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing those insights. It's fascinating to see how the convergence of advanced population, intelligence, and space intelligence is reshaping the future. So let's move to our next question. So through Apax Orbital, you are developing India's first cost-efficient micro Earth observation satellite constellation integrated with ELINT capabilities. What are the biggest technologies, regulatory, and commercial challenges involved in building and scaling a sovereign space tech company, and how can startups successfully overcome these barriers?
Of course. So when we are working on these space technologies, I cannot say that our life is very easy, because here many items or some of the items still we are dependent on foreign suppliers, and that supply chain constraints. For example, last 5 to 6 years, if you see that many geopolitical developments are happening across the world, and as I already mentioned you, we are now at this 21st century. We are not a isolated country. So something happened at the far western countries also affect us, because somewhere the remote control or the invisible connection is there. Then umbilically we all are connected, all countries. So when we discussed and wanted to place our item order with certain foreign vendors, that time situation were different. And at this stage, at 2026, the situation is very different, and a lot of restriction curves and obligations or regulatory compliance have come into picture, which makes life difficult for startup like us. But having said that, we should be mentally prepared and technically also prepared to have the plan B, because every time all of our anticipation and projection will work may not be. So any eventuality, we should be ready. And coming to startups, yes, of course, when I was serving in ISRO, life was very different because it's a government agency. So there are many things happens government to government understanding. So any technology, any hardware, any product has to come to India. Then that is none of our headache. That government of India takes care. We just have to project our requirements. Coming to the startups or as a private entity, so here no one is there to take your responsibility. You have to plan, you have to schedule, you have to keep all the fallback options in terms of your product development, your component supply, or your realization strategy, so that if your plan A fails, so you can go for your the fallback option and meet your project objective, and mostly not disappointing or what you can say, making heartbreaking of your investors, because they believe you and they invest on your idea, on your product, on your technology. So in this way you can fulfill the requirements. But of course, uh, if you make 100 things like meeting all your requirements, but still their chances are there, out of 100 maybe 10 or 20 may not work out.
Thank you. Thank you for building your origin space tech company. Certainly comes with unique challenges, and your perspective on overcoming them. It's truly insightful. So, moving to our next question. You have worked extensively across space research, defense innovation, skill development, and startup mentorship. From your experience, what opportunities do you see for collaboration between government agencies, private companies, academia, and startup is accelerating India's space and defense ecosystem?
So, having worked in across the table in government, with privates, with PSUs, and with stock exchange companies, academias, I have seen that uh, proper coordination required among all of us. So, college cannot, or universities, they are producing the future workers of the company are going to use the resources what the university makes them ready in 2, 3 or 4 years timeline. So they have to see each other's requirement. So colleges are producing the resources which are may not required, or I can say are not much welcome in the current industry scenario. Then those will be a catastrophic failure for the educational system. And what industries are really looking, so they have to go to universities, and or the and the industry requirements should become integral part of any university's curriculum, so that the resources or the people or the humans resources who are getting ready in the university will match the industry requirements. Then that will be like a win-win situation for both of them. How much we integrate automation, we use artificial intelligence, but we cannot completely diminish humans from the system. Because after all, final, if you see the rocket gets launched from Sriharikota, it once the moment it lifts, it uses its onboard computer. It is not under the control of any one of us who are sitting on Earth. But if the rocket just deviates from its trajectory, or if you feel that it's not following the path it's supposed to, then the destruction command goes from the Earth, and that command gives is given by a human. He's called the mission controller, the mission director. So that's a point what I want to convey here is that you cannot completely eliminate the humans from the system. Of course, you can increase the efficiency by using the automation. And government agencies or the private, I don't see that any industry working in this sector, they work very differently. Only the controls take are different. Private are under the control of any private entity. Government agencies like ISRO or other DRDO, they are under the ambit or the control of government. But at the end of the day, if you see private companies, if they are making satellite, they are not following in a different way. They also follow the, like Apex OrbitalX is making satellites. So we are following and will be following the same pattern of making satellites what ISRO follows. There will not be any deviation. Coming to the skill development area, so still we are little confused. We think that our education and skills both are same. It's not that. If that is the case, then after studying 4 years or 5 years of an engineering course, why a person or the student is again pursuing software courses, automation courses, and this blah blah? Why? Because those are the skill courses. You are now educated, but you are not skilled now. industry nowadays looking for the skilled people, not only with the your university certificate. University certificate is the mere recognition that now you are ready for the industry, but skillings will give you that you can work now, ready to work and you can work. There is a difference. So all these dots have to be connected and the proper circle have to be made. And I think we, all of us, me, you, and GCADDI, all having the equal responsibility now to connect all the dots and then make a proper circle so that at the end of the day, as a whole nation, as a whole global village, I think we all can prosper by leveraging industry, academia, skillings, and all the expertise all together.
Yeah, thank you. For those are the excellent points. Collaboration between government, industry, and academia and startups will undoubtedly play a crucial role in accelerating innovation and strengthening India's space ecosystem. So, moving to our next question. So, your presentation highlights next generation technologies such as 3D printed propulsion systems, autonomous swarm networks, and orbital electric warfare capabilities. Which of these technologies do you believe will have the greatest impact on future aerospace and defense operations? And what challenges must be overcome to deploy them at scale?
Um, these are just only few areas I have highlighted, but this is not the extensive. So
Okay.
because extensive areas I mentioned the space or the aerospace or defense areas or deep tech areas, the horizon is very broad and infinite technologies are there. What we are thinking today is advanced technology. So you will not believe that I can give you proof that those technology are already used by someone somewhere, and it is now discarded and obsolete. So only thing is, as now we are only getting exposed to these technologies, so that is the reason we are feeling that we are doing some advanced things. 3D printing, if you ask me, it is already used in 2010, 11, or maybe before that by foreign agencies. The first 3D printer has been sent to space in 2011, 10-11 timeline. That was made by a company called Made in Space, is a USA-based company. So at 2026, if I say that 3D printing is the new thing we are introducing, so I think it's not the right part to say. But still then I can say it's right. Why? Because now we are only getting exposed to it. So when we use the technology, we feel it's a new thing for us, but it's not new in literally. And these technologies will not only reduce your development life cycle, but sometime it can help you even to achieve the complex product building capabilities by using these advanced technologies such as 3D printing or what we call like using automation in our production lines, in manufacturing lines, in quality assessments. And this propulsion or in terms of building autonomous swarm drones or using all these technologies for our defense or aerospace or in space domains, the bottom line is it increases the efficiency and reduces the development life cycle. If both things can come side by side, then it will give you a cost effective products. After all, this whole world works on the cost effective philosophy. The more demand, more supply, cost is less, then you can meet everyone's requirements. If any point in this lever, the fulcrum is imbalanced here and there, then overall the applicable load will work in the wrong point, and it can completely jeopardize or hamper the overall ecosystem in these sectors. So all these technologies and usage of these modern and advanced tools help us to increase the efficiency and reduce the cost. That is the bottom line.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for those insights. So, moving to our next question. Apax Orbital is building dual use technologies that serves both defense and civilian sectors. Looking ahead over the next decade, how do you see emerging technologies such as satellite, artificial intelligence, and space based intelligence, autonomous systems, and advanced analytics transforming global security and commerce?
So when we develop a product, my this gut feeling is that we should not be dependent on only one source of our requirements. For example, if the satellite, if I build only for say defense areas, and only anchor it to the defense projects, then chances are there the project may take its own time to get noticed. But if I mingle it or make it as a dual use for defense and civilians, because everyone needs now this Earth observation satellite data. So that is the reason, keeping that in mind, Apex Orbital X is working on developing a dual use technology for both defense and civilian applications. And in a timely manner, if we realize and we launch a product and provide the services, I am seeing a huge growth potential available for this sector. Earth observation integrated with the onboard intelligence and with the RF modules or the payloads to provide information to our disaster management response team, and to the defense, maritime surveillance, and for example, I'll tell that if a projectile is launched from any enemy nation to India, so the satellite what Apex Orbital X is building, we can see in the space the moment it will be launched. The security agencies in India only can know when it will enter our airspace in India, maybe 40-50 kilometers. But we can very well see the moment it is launched, because our satellite carries a thermal infrared payload which can sense the thermal signature. And by using the advanced mathematical models, we can tell that uh, the projectile or the missile is coming and where it may go, the probability we can give. So accordingly, the defense establishment or the security agencies, they can take the proactive actions and preemptive systems. They can bring in line to eliminate it. So that kind of capability we are building. So this is one example only. I said you, there is a fire, forest fire. Like forest fire, like you and me, we might not have directly get affected by it, but very recently there is 1,000 kilometer of forest in Spain that got burn, a
Mm.
wildfire, what you call wild forest fire. So our satellite can detect when it will get, the fire will get initiated. That moment we can sense, and we can give you the exact coordinates so that you can take a timely action to put off the fire, and you can prevent spreading of this disaster, save human lives, wealth, habitat of that forest, and after all, you can save the ecology of the whole world. So it's an environmental impact you can save. So like that, if you see the space assets or the satellites or these remote sensing satellites of the nature what Apex Orbital X is building,
Mm.
it is having more than 100 plus areas we can provide support. Many defense strategic areas are there, of course, and many commercial and civilian use cases of the areas also we can support. So in that too, we can play very balancing business objectives. So any money invested on building this satellite can give a return, whether it is used for defense or whether it is used for the civilian areas. And I think we all must look for such kind of objectives, because we should not very focused only for civilians or only for fintech areas or only for defense areas. Is better think about anchoring this to certain government funded project, but keep it also available and open to deploy your product wherever the requirement comes. That way your satellite won't be ideal in the space.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your vision. It's exciting to see how emerging technologies such as AI, satellite constellations, and autonomous system will redefine both security and global commerce in the years ahead. So, moving to our final and last question. So, the Global Council for Aerospace Defense and Deep Tech aims to build a trusted ecosystem connecting innovators, governments, defense organizations, investors, researchers, and technology leaders worldwide. Based on your experience, what role can initiatives like Global Council for Aerospace Defense and Deep Tech play in accelerating deep tech commercialization, strengthening sovereign capabilities, and enabling companies like Apax Orbital to scale globally?
So the name indicates that is as a global body, is a global platform. So my assumption or the takeaways, if you ask me what we expect from this platform, is one is global market access, because here company like Apex Orbital X won't be there alone. there will be multiple developers, multiple users across different parts of the world. So who can come across extensions here? Because what I know, maybe some users will be there in different parts of the world. What is their requirements? Probably I may be building the exactly same thing, but I don't know because we are not connected to them. So in that way, GCADI can build the bridge. And coming to the next very important part is capital and commercialization. So GCADI can be a platform where startups like us can connect with the patience investors. When I say patience investors, because the space sector, the gestation time is a little more compared to your other like e-commerce or AI or apparel or your food or maybe your infrastructure, where you can invest now and within a month or maybe within a year, you can get the investment return on your investment, that is called ROI. So here, GCADI can definitely help startups like us in the collaborative way with the win-win situations. GCADI can keep a stake with companies like us and connect us with the right investors and help us to go to the market strategy, help us to understand what global need and what we are building, how we can fill the gap, making the win-win situation for both of us. Then regulatory navigation, because having the global presence, definitely there will be diplomats and senior government functionaries, policymakers will be integrated or will be part of this platform, I'm very sure, in the coming future. So GCADI can project that the difficulties what we are facing and help us to steer away or make our journey smooth in when it comes for export regulatory things, when we want to procure something or when we have to export something to that country. So GCAD can become a door for us for navigating through all these problems. Then ecosystem synergy. So as I mentioned that we may need some R&D or some technical support expertise, and being a global platform, so a global what you can I can say that the amalgamation of experts from different industries, from academias, from governments, so they can help us to connect the right people, and they can take our help where such kind of requirements are there, so to supplement and or to complement each other by fulfilling all of our needs. So again, let me summarize what GCADI and Apex OrbitalX kind of startups can work together. First is global market access. Second is capital and commercialization support. And then third is regulatory navigation. Fourth is ecosystem synergy. So all these areas, if we work together, then definitely at the end of the day, it will be a win-win situation for a uh, professional body like yours and startups like Apex OrbitalX, which is founded with a very big vision and mission. We can meet, we may be Indian company, but although we are developing something for our national requirements, but having said that, we can also meet the international requirements. Making locally, we can meet the global requirements.
Yes. I think that gives our audience a lot to reflect on. What an insightful and inspiring conversation. Mishra, thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights and vision with the Global Council for Aerospace Defense and Deep Tech Innovation community. Your remarkable journey from ISRO and DRDO to build Apax Orbital X demonstrate that the future of aerospace and defense innovation will be driven by bold ideas, strategic collaboration, and the successful integration for space technologies, intelligent systems, and deep tech capabilities. So, thank you so much. And behalf of the entire Global Council for Aerospace and Defense Deep Tech Innovations community, thank you once again for joining us today. We look forward to witnessing APAC's Orbital X journey and its contribution to shaping the future of aerospace, defense, and deep tech innovation. Thank you, Mishra, for joining us today.
Thank you, Susma. Thank you to the all team members of GCADI. Thank you, my dear friend Santosh, and wish you all the best. Hope so. People like us will make use of your platform, and I also request that GCADI also should make use of our expertise. Companies like us in fulfilling the global demands, building from India, meeting the global demands. Thank you very much. Wish you a good day. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mishra. Have a great day.
Thank you.